All right, friends, 5:01 here on a weather impact alert day. Sean Ash alongside Matt Standridge. And, you know, the last couple of hours, it's been very interesting.
Sure.
Because a lot of folks have been saying, where's the snow? Where's the snow?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. It's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming. If you haven't had it, it's coming here, and we're going to dive in. I want to show the snow map again. We haven't made much changes. We're still going 5 to 8 for the metro area. There's still going to be a gradient over Hamilton County. I've been getting a lot of interaction from Anderson.
Sure. Okay.
What's going on?
Where is it all?
Are we really going to get to the 3 to 5 here?
Right.
You know, hang tight. And if you're south of Indy, Bloomington and Seymour, and I just tweeted this out, what's on the way is some of the heaviest snow rates. And this coincides with Lindsay's timing this morning for the metro.
Yeah.
She was saying around 6 p.m., between 6 and midnight.
And that's what we're entering into. You can see those yellow and orange bursts showing you those heavier intensities.
Yeah, and that's also a transition zone too by Vincennes.
Sure.
We've been getting some reports of sleet down there. So look, you need to understand that we have another 12 to 18 hours in some locations. I mean,
Sean, is still snowing out towards Kansas City. So we've got a ways to go.
Yeah. And it's a long way here, but I want you to tackle the roads because, man, and we talked to Chuck Lofton, by the way.
Yeah.
Said he left the Colts game early and just said it was a mess getting home.
Yes, a lot of us are dealing with very treacherous road out there right now. A lot of snow-covered roads, and a lot of times the traffic picks up, the snow tires melt a little bit, and it's so cold out there. You're going to show some of those temperatures.
Yeah.
It refreezes. So it's a sheet of ice for some of us. All right, let's show you a couple of these cameras that we have across the area. But first, I want to get to the speeds. When you see the yellows, you see the reds. We've got speeds down to 30. 40 miles per hour, sometimes down to 20, especially when you're making these turns and when the interstate curves just a little bit. We've got multiple accidents. These aren't all of them. It is taking crews a while to respond to all the accidents. So give yourself extra time. Don't be surprised if you have to head out this evening. That's going to take you 2 to 3 or 4 times the amount of time that it normally would take. So we've got an accident out towards the east. We also have a couple more accidents off to the north. I want to show you a couple of these that we're going to have out there across central Indiana. But right now you're looking at just the slower road speeds that are out there. So let's go ahead and switch. We'll go to, I think I had the Greenfield or Keystone up first. This is a live look outside. There we go, in Greenfield. All right, now you can actually see it. If you remember at 4 o'clock, we showed you just a white screen because we had whiteout conditions right there in Hancock County. It looks like the burst has tapered off a little bit. It's still hard to see, so it's still coming down. The snow is coming down at a pretty good clip. But look at this backup. You're looking westbound. These folks have just left Greenfield. They're kind of near the Greenfield rest area, headed to Mount Comfort and eventually downtown Indianapolis. But the snow is thick, and if you look closely, the snow is really accumulating on these interstates. So I-70 is backed up in a big way right through Hancock County, through some of the construction zones. It looks like the eastbound lanes headed out towards Newcastle and Richmond are still moving. They're just on the slower side. This is a live look on the north side of Indianapolis. You're looking along 465 as you're near Keystone. Now you're looking eastbound, so you're headed more towards I-69. You're headed to Fishers, but we've got a slow down there in some of those lanes. You can see some folks, they're turning on their hazards a little bit because they feel the snow is just so intense. You see multiple cars just putting their hazards on as they're driving through. You can see emergency responders, first responders responding to that accident right now. Westbound lanes are moving, but gosh, they are slow right now, and folks continue to just go at a crawl. What happens with that, which is good, but what happens too is the less tire traffic you have on the roads, the more snow accumulates on the road itself. Let's talk about some of the delays that we're having. If you're trying to just take I-70 right through the heart of downtown from east to west, west to east, we're at 30 to 35 miles per hour for your speed. So about half the speed limit or so. It's about a 13 delay going from west to east. So from Plainfield, the airport, all the way to Greenfield, about a 13-minute delay. From east to west, from Greenfield out towards the airport, where it's now about a 20-minute delay, give or take. If you're going I-65 north and south, about a 20-minute delay from Zionsville area, from Traders Point south to about Greenwood. So big delays out there, and these may increase as the night goes on, because eventually as traffic starts to die off a little bit, the snow doesn't have to fight the friction of the tires anymore. It can just accumulate on the roads more easily. So expect more snow-covered roads. In fact, talking about snow-covered roads, let's talk about some of those road sensors that we have across central Indiana. And they are covered. This light blue shows you where we've got decent snow on the roads. It's kind of light on the roads, but then the shoulders are thick with it. And then a lot of our rural roads and county roads, they're pretty much snow-covered. Where you see the darker blue, there right now will be several inches of snow on these road sensors. We've got a couple hints of it towards the northwest side of the city, there towards Michigan Road. You've got the Costco there as you're headed to Traders Point and then eventually north into Zionsville. The Whitestown area there where you've got a little bit of heavier snow reporting on some of these roads themselves. We'll zoom out just a little bit more. That was Indy. We've got heavier snow-covered roads out towards the west. It looks like traffic has stopped on I-70 coming in from Clayton and Brazil. That's all the way to about the Greencastle exit, hop into I-70. Also more snow-covered roads as you approach the state line with Illinois. Also a little bit heavier snow there just north of Danville, kind of near the Pittsboro-Liston area. Then we zoom out just a little bit more. I want to show you how it is even thicker the farther south you go. Sean's been talking about it for several days now. We're talking about the biggest snowfall totals south of Indy, so kind of south-central Indiana. So south of Franklin, but still kind of north of Louisville. We think this is where the heaviest snowfall reports will be by the time this whole system is done. But you can see the heavier snow that is really compacted onto these roads. I-65 has been a huge mess, especially there towards Scottsburg, Austin, Crothersville, headed to Henryville and to the northern suburbs of Louisville. Heavy, thick snow there. Heavy, thick snow also around the Bloomington area. We've got a crew headed to Bloomington coming up at 6 during our actual newscast. We're going to have a report there from near IU. And then the red color shows you thick ice that is developing on these road sensors. And we've been watching that transition. Sean's going to show you too on the radar where we're starting to get more of a wintry mix moving in from the south. More sleet and ice starting to come in. So very treacherous road conditions. Lots of travel advisories and travel warnings out there for the rest of the evening. It's also hard to see. Look at this. We're down to about a quarter-mile visibility in Bedford. And just to put this in perspective, blizzard warnings. For a blizzard warning, the National Weather Service has to expect a fourth-mile visibility or lower for more than 3 hours. If we continue to have very low visibility, I wouldn't be surprised if we get closer to near blizzard-like conditions. It's not all about how heavy the snow is, but how low the visibility is during a winter event. So that's something that we'll have to watch, especially as winds pick up later this evening, which Sean will show you. But we're down to 1 mile visibility across much of central Indiana. Richmond, Indy, Bloomington, Shelbyville, Greencastle, Terre Haute down to 1 mile. And then it's such a sharp cutoff. We've got a lot of folks in Marion, Lafayette, Muncie. Where's my snow? Well, we do have a little bit more snow on the northern edge of the system from Illinois. I do think that will start to fill in a little bit more, but that's why we have such a sharp cutoff with some of our snow. We've been talking about it for several days, that there was going to be a sharp cutoff. We weren't exactly sure what county it would exactly be, but we knew it'd be on the north side of Indy, and that's where it is. Right now, our snowfall reports, these are estimations from the radar, a good 2, 3, even up to 4 inches kind of around the Indianapolis metropolitan area. Once you get north of Indy towards north side of Carmel, Westfield, Fisher, down to about an inch, inch and a half, maybe 2 inches in a couple spots. It just kind of depends on where you are. Out in eastern Indiana, about an inch to 2 inches reporting around Wayne County, Rush County. We got about 3 inches or so, but look at some of these totals farther south. The snow is racking up. Now, that may pause a little bit depending on how much sleet and ice will be mixing in the next couple of hours. It's been pretty much pure snow for a while, but that wintry mix is spreading off to the north, and that may start kind of pausing some of the snowfall totals at least a little bit, where we're probably going to see them really rack up next couple of hours there towards Bloomington, Columbus, Greenwood, Franklin, Edinburgh, Martinsville, out to Brazil and Greencastle, where we're probably just north of the heaviest sleet. We can get some of that heavier snow. So, Sean, these totals continue to go up every hour that we check.
And again, I can't stress it enough, partner. We've got a long way to go. So I think folks that were maybe throwing in the towel way too early are going to see that here. So let me show you the vantage point from here in downtown Indy, where it is definitely a snow globe here. Now, it's still a kind of a misty type, really kind of a fine snow. That's what I would characterize it. Temperatures everywhere, we're all kind of lumped in together in the lower to mid 20s. This is radar in precipitation type mode. Notice across the southern and southwestern corner of the state, those brighter colors of yellow. Some of that going to be a little bit of sleet. We've had some reports of that. But as we've been saying all day long, right on the edge of the sleet snow line is where we will get the heavier snow rates. I'm drawing those arrows here. And so here over the course, I would say between now and probably about 8, 9 o'clock, right on Lindsay's schedule from this morning, that's going to be the heaviest rates that we'll have here in the Indy area all day long so far. And when I say that, we're talking about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch per hour. I think once you get south of 70, I think it's going to be more of a 1.5 inches to, at times, 2 inches per hour snow rates. That's in addition to what you've already had. So that's why we have been kind of highlighting areas near and especially south of 70, in between 70 and the Ohio River. So that includes Seymour and Bedford, and I would put Johnson County in that mix. And we'll get back to our snow map again, where the highest totals would be. So will not stun us at all if we get some double-digit totals down there. So what we're showing you here on radar right now, that is just a steady, now becoming a moderate snow around the metro area. Now you can see as we go a little bit farther up to the north, a lot of that is not reaching the ground. And a lot, so it's going to be a very sharp. Matt, what did you call that on your map yesterday? The zone of disappointment?
A zone of disappointment.
Yeah. That will be the zone of disappointment up there. Lafayette, Kokomo, Hartford City, Marion, Hamilton County, Delaware County, including Anderson, is going to be kind of an interesting, where there's going to be a gradient over Hamilton County from like Atlanta might get 3, but then you get into Fishers and Ingalls and Zionsville, you got a better shot of being well within our 5 to 8 forecast zone there. And then you get into Marion County, so, Southport has a better chance to eclipse 8 inches before this thing wraps up. And keep in mind, when we say wrap up, we've got all night to go, we've got tomorrow morning to go. So the idea here is that, again, we've got a long duration event. So we're going to have heavy snow rates here this evening. And if you think the roads are bad now, wait until, another 90 minutes or so. Here's Future Track 13, all right, which is doing a pretty good job on placement. So this is at 10 o'clock. That is still going to be moderate to locally heavy snow, and we're still going to have some of the bands. So folks that are watching in Muncie and Peru saying when, it's just going to take longer up there. It's still not going to be terribly heavy. And then here we are at 4 or 5 in the morning, and we'll still have there's another burst of snow right there, Matt. There's a little, what we call almost like a deformation zone, if you will. That'll have some moderate snow tomorrow morning. It's going to be a different type of snow, and that stuff is going to be wind driven. So the winter storm warnings continue, and this is our fine-tuned map, if you will. I've been thinking leading into this that 6 to 7 was going to be a very common number around the metro area. I still feel pretty good about that. Yeah. We're definitely going to get some 8-inch totals, I believe. And either way, at this point, though, just please know, this thing's far from done.
We've got several hours to go.
We got a long way to go. You got another NDOT camera for us. Which one is this?
This is out towards Shelbyville.
Okay.
This is 74 as you're headed south and east towards Cincinnati. A lot of these bridges, we've got only one lane really open, and it's kind of right over the median there, so travel's tough.
All right, yeah, so that's kind of the story. We've got, hang tight, friends, hang tight. We're going to keep you updated on social, as we always do, but top of the hour will be our newscast here. So we'll have an update on radar, have an update on traffic. We got some crews that are out in the field as well.